Hi everyone and welcome to Boss Girl Budgets. Today we are doing a bonus video which I'm super excited about sharing with you guys. As most of you know, I'm going on holiday in 6 weeks time, and I just thought today I would share with you how I'm budgeting for the trip. So let's get into it. So I will share a little background with you guys first. So 2021 I started the cash stuffing journey, and I took a year and a half to kind of get myself where I needed to be. So my debt was paid off. I had my emergency fund. I had saved for my last holiday, which was to the UK. And near the end of last year, a few weeks before we were leaving, we decided to sell our house and quit our jobs. So we did that, and this year we put the house money into a locked account. So we put a deposit for a new house into a locked savings account, so it can grow some interest for this year. We gave ourselves basically my wage to live on for this year. So every week when you see me cash stuff my income, that income is what I'm paying myself from that wage. It's a little bit weird and it's not normal, but we kind of did it because I am a bit stuck in my job. I really wanted to try something different. So we just thought, you know what, let's just enjoy life for a year. We can go back to work. We've got enough money to get us through 1 year and just have fun. So that's what we're doing. So sold our house, put the deposit away. We've given ourselves 50 grand to live on for the year, which has been working out really, really well. And then we also put away $24,500 to go on to another vacation to the UK. So because my family lives over there, we knew that we were going to go over soon, so we just stashed them away. And I also knew I wouldn't be able to save that much money this year because of not working. So that money is sitting here ready to go. So that's how we're affording our vacation trip, and that is why I need to stick to a budget, because that's all we've got to go on for the trip. So let's have a little look at how I'm going to make it work. Okay, so I'm sorry this is all a bit long-winded. I'm not very good at explaining things, so it takes me a while, but let's have a look. So basically we have got, I hope you can see this, we have got the $24,500, so that's what we're budgeting with, and that is going to cover my pre-trip expenses, so my flights and my insurance. It's also going to cover all of our accommodation. It will cover car hire, and it will cover our holiday expenses, so things like transport, extra activities, phones, because you'll obviously have to get we get a different SIM card when we're over there, basically. It needs to cover the flights that we're taking to Italy, and it needs to take care of parking when we're in the car hire. So if we add these up, so I've kind of put it in these categories, and then I've given each category a budget of how much I am willing to spend in those areas. So our pre-trip is $5,500. I've got accommodation at $10,000. I figured $1,000 a week should cover it. We don't want anything too fancy, just somewhere to stay. Car hire will be $4,250, and holiday will be $4,750. So that is $24,500. So that's our budget, pretty much, covering that. The flights we have managed to go over. So you would have seen in one of my other videos, I went over by $1,000. So I am doing a savings challenge over the next couple of months, and we will pay that back into there. So that's fine. We've just used our savings to cover it for now. Insurance we managed to get under, so that was really good. Accommodation, like I said before, we've given ourselves roughly $1,000 a week. So far I've been keeping it pretty good. I'll show you that in just a second. Car hire. Now I researched the car hire in advance, so I know it's going to cost roughly $4,250. It's not for the whole 10 weeks that we're away. It's just for, I think it's 6 of the weeks that we're away that we'll need to hire a car. The rest of it we'll be using public transport. So I've put $1,500 away for that. So that's for trains, trams, buses. Pretty much when you go to places like London, you don't want to take a car. So we'll be in London for about a week. So I have bought train tickets in advance to pay for that. So that's where that money is all coming from. Our extra activities, so that's things like getting into museums and seeing all the attractions and things like that. And then these ones here are pretty self-explanatory. I have just given like a basic overview, so it might not work out that way, but fingers crossed. Now for living expenses, as I mentioned before, I give us $1,000 a week to cover all of our expenses weekly. So while we're away, we're going to be using that same amount to live on. So this will cover our groceries, our spending money, our eating out money, activities as well. So I've got activities in 2 because we will try and use this one before we use the holiday one. We've got miscellaneous money. I have got car juice money, which is petrols. When we hire a car, we'll use that during the week to top up our petrol. And I've got coffee, because you know your girl loves her cup of coffee. And in Europe they have Starbucks, so I will be very happy because we don't have Starbucks in Adelaide. Expenses, so this is the expenses that I will need to pay at home. So things like bills, rent, and then I've also got our sinking funds and our savings. So sinking funds and savings, I will leave that in our bank. I know how much I'm going to be stuffing. And when I get back from our holiday, I will do a video with you guys and we will cash stuff the whole 10 weeks in that video. And then lastly down here, most of you have seen in some of my videos, I've been saving for Disney, but I am no longer going to Disney because we're not going to France, we're going to Italy. So my husband has compromised and we are going to Harry Potter World. So I've saved $1,080 for that. So that will go here. So we've basically got $10,000 to get us through. That's $1,000 a week income that I get. And then we've got the savings here of the extra $1,080 for Harry Potter. So how I've worked this out is $150 a week for groceries. It's a little bit less than what I have here, but there's only 2 of us going to the UK and there's 3 of us living here. So I've brought it down a little bit. Spending money, I've just given us the $50 a week that I would normally give us. It's pretty much similar to what I would do here, because we'll be in Airbnbs most of the time, so I'll be cooking, not eating out. We'll be doing activities similar to what we do here, so we've got that money. We'll be putting petrol in, so I've kind of given us pretty much the same as what we'll be doing here. And then yeah, so the bills and the rent, that will stay in my account here and just get direct debited as always. And then Harry Potter will cover, you know, the full day out. So the train, the tickets, the souvenirs, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the overview of my budget. That's where I'm getting the money from. And then just on this other spreadsheet here, I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's zoom in. Okay, so this one is my spreadsheet on my accommodation. So to work out my accommodation, because it changes everywhere you go. So I've got each week written down. I've got where we're staying, and then I have got for every date, I've written how much our accommodation is costing per night, and that gives me a total. And then in this column here, it tells me if I'm under budget or over budget. So some things are like this week here, for example, I am over budget by $215, but you'll notice the 2 weeks before I am under by $120 both weeks. So that covers the overlap. So by doing it this way, it means I can stick to my budget and make sure that when I'm booking accommodation, we're not going too far over. So that's been really, really handy for me, especially because accommodation is a big chunk of the money. And we have to stay somewhere. So that's going to be super helpful. Gosh, I feel like this is the most I've talked in a video. Okay, so next up, so while we're over there, I will be using this spending tracker, and this will help me stick to my budget. So every week I will write down what we've been spending. So I've pretty much just got the date, what we've purchased, what section it came from. So if it came from transport, if it came from personal spending, if it came from car hire, any of that kind of stuff, we'll put it in here, and the amount, so I can keep track of what I'm spending. This is important for me because I won't have my cash wallets with me. So the only cash wallets that I will have is my vacation spending. So I'll have a little bit of cash in this one here. And my husband will have his own spending money in his vacation envelope. But apart from that, we're using a travel card. So I tend to track with all this stuff and all my wallets and with you guys on camera, but when I'm overseas, I won't be able to do that. So this is going to be a lifesaver for me. It means I can also keep doing my planning, because we all know how much I love to plan. So it kind of keeps me in control, gives me something to do, something to manage. So that's going to be really handy. And then lastly, I have just got my transport tracker. So when I'm traveling overseas, it's so much cheaper to book in advance. So things like train tickets, you know, your shuttle buses, metro passes, all that kind of stuff, I'm booking in advance. So this spreadsheet here is just giving me a rundown of where I need to get to, any notes that I need to write down, and then how much I'm assuming. It's kind of like a rough idea of how much it's going to cost. So this way I know whether I am, go back to the main budget, whether I'm keeping it in this little budget I've got here. So I don't know if this is going to work. It's the first time I've done it. Last time we went on a holiday, I just worked out my budget on the fly. Like I didn't really have a budget. I just went. It ended up costing more than I thought it would. We had lots of fun, but I didn't come back with anything, and that was a bit sad, because then I was kind of starting fresh with all of my sinking funds and my savings challenges again. I really want to keep this to the budget, so we'll see how we go. If you have any questions about my budgeting, because I'm really not good at explaining things, but if you have any questions, let me know down below, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning. I'm using my calendars, like my monthly calendars, to kind of map out where we're checking in, check out when we're catching the train, when we're hiring a car, all of those dates using this. These are available on my Etsy store, so as a digital download only, so you can use them. I find them really useful. I think that's it. I think that covers kind of everything. If you've got any tips or ideas about sticking on a budget when you're on holidays, please let me know. I would love to hear. But yeah, that's about it, I think. I hope you guys all have a lovely week. I hope you enjoyed this bonus video. If you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all on the weekend for our cash and stuffing. Bye guys.